some artists like to tease us a little too much. Sometimes it's worth it for us to wait over 300 days for one album, and sometimes it's not. Like the Carter 5, which was supposed to come out in 2014 but took a whopping 4 extra years to release. But it wasn't entirely Lil Wayne's fault. Before the release of the Carter 5, Wayne was on top of the world and already cemented as one of the greatest rappers of all time from all his incredible features he appeared on, plus his loved Carter series. Nearly every entry in the Carter series is a classic, and it was now time for the 5th installment of the series. It all started in March of 2014 when Wayne set the stage for the Carter 5 being his greatest album so far. Wayne went on to promote the album, even recruiting Kobe Bryant to promote his album, with him saying Carter 5 season begins with the release date set at October 28th, 2014. But when October 28th came, the album was delayed to December 9th, and surprise, surprise, December 9th came with no release. Fans even petitioned for the label to release the album, but Wayne revealed it wasn't released because of his label Cash Money Records, run by Birdman, and he went on to say he wants out of the label by the end of the year. In 2015, fans expected the album to come out, but then news broke of Wayne filing a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money and Birdman for delaying the album and owing him millions in unpaid royalties and sales. For the rest of 2015, details on the lawsuit were kept under wraps, but Wayne would take shot after shot at the label, so fans knew this album wasn't coming out anytime soon. On top of all this, Martin Shkreli, founder of some major companies, said he purchased the album and Wayne himself didn't even know how. Martin went on to leak the song we now know as Mona Lisa with Kendrick Lamar, which brought him fraud charges, forcing him to pay $7 million and hand over his Carter 5 copy. But that was just a little side quest. The legal issue between Wayne and Birdman went on through 2015 all the way up until 2018, with both Wayne and Birdman through the years saying the album is coming soon. Finally, in June of 2018, Wayne was released from Cash Money Records, held ownership of his label Young Money Records, and finally on September 28th, 2018, the Carter 5 was released. This means the Carter 5 was delayed for a total of 1,431 days. The hype for this album definitely remained though, because the album debuted at number 1, sold nearly 500,000 copies first week, and secured 433 million streams in its first week. I'm sure Wayne didn't want to delay the album for over 1,400 days, but it definitely worked as the album amounted over 2 million sales. Over 4 years, fans continued to hype the album up higher and higher, and fans exploded when the album actually came out. So is this a genius marketing plan? But when Playboi Carti came out with his debut self-titled album in 2017, he instantly hit the scene hard, with Magnolia leading his breakout. This album was loved by fans as it set a new feeling sound to the fresh SoundCloud era of modern trap music. Carti followed up with Die Lit in 2018, which again flew off the shelves. Carti at this point now built a cult group of fans mainly for his unique, unmatched rage trap style of music. But it was now time for Carti to do it again. In late 2018, Carti began teasing some songs off his album during his 2018 tour, and even revealed the album would be called Whole Lotta Red, but he never gave a specific release date. In 2019, songs started getting leaked, and this was a different style of Carti, and fans knew it. Carti went quiet until July of 2019, where he announced new music in 60 days, meaning late September of 2019. But by the end of September, all Carti fans had was a few features and more leaked songs, and at this point it was 16 songs off the album that were leaked. Now this did bring a lot of hype to the album. Fans were stuck listening to unreleased versions, counting down the days till the official release. But Carti went on to go quiet again until April 2020, when his single Mad dropped, along with a feature on Drake's album in May. Finally, on Christmas Day of 2020, Whole Lotta Red was released, and well, majority of fans and critics hated it. Reviews were so poor everywhere, and no one likes this new Carti rage sound he had going on throughout the entire album, and I was one of them. Safe to say it was a letdown for the fans who waited over 2 years for the Carti they knew and wanted. But fast forward to today, this album took a complete 180 and is now loved by fans and critics, and actually created a new sound for hundreds of new artists to hit the scene and copy. So Carti took a risk? and it paid off. But when Frank Ocean released Nostalgia Ultra and Channel Orange in 2011 and 2012, Frank Ocean was one of the best artists out at the time, even winning a Grammy for Orange. Anticipation was high for another project from Frank, and in 2014 he began hinting at his next project, but that was really it. Frank was always a quiet artist. You didn't know much about him unless you watched his work with Odd Future. In 2015 he then announced an album that was supposed to be called Boys Don't Cry, but it just kept getting delayed. Similar to Lil Wayne, Frank wanted out of his label Def Jam to gain creative control and freedom over his music, and he felt they undervalued him and didn't support him. Frank Ocean's genius plan was to get out of his Def Jam contract obligations, and he did that by releasing a 45-minute visual album, Endless, on August 19, 2016, and literally the next day released Blonde with a collab with Apple Music under his own label Boys Don't Cry. Fans waited 4 years for Blonde, and it was worth it, as it's one of the most loved albums ever released in modern time. After that, Frank pretty much disappeared from all social media and the music industry. He has released a few singles and features here and there, but fans are still waiting for a complete album from him. But it seems like he'll be pulling a Lauryn Hill on fans and calling his career on Blonde. But one of the most infamous anticipated delays in rap music is Dr. Dre's Detox. The Chronic and 2001, released in 1992 and 1999, were and still are some of the greatest rap albums to ever be released, and fans wanted another one. Dre's next album, Detox, was announced in 2002 for a release date set in 2003, but through the years the album faced delays due to Dre wanting to perfect every track. Tracks were getting leaked, and Dre was focusing on his label and artists he signed and business ventures he was exploring. Detox was delayed to 2004, then to 2006, then to 2008, then to 2010, until finally Dre revealed that he scrapped the album because he didn't like it. But Dre didn't leave everyone hanging entirely, because in 2015 he released his album Compton. But it was a letdown. It debuted at number 2 and as of today sold just over 600,000 copies. Fans already didn't like Compton because it wasn't Detox, and that's what they were expecting. It was less of a Dre project and was filled with collabs from other artists. Compton lost that G-Funk style and instead matched more of a modern sound, and it was basically more of a soundtrack to the movie Straight Outta Compton. This was just a huge letdown, and I guess you can say Detox was delayed for an infinite amount of days, or if you count the original release date from Detox until the official release of Compton, fans waited just about 4,380 days for the album. Was it worth it? But Kanye is the final entry on the list. The only albums Kanye released on time are My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, 808s and Heartbreaks, Yeezus, Ye, and Kids See Ghosts. Jesus is King was delayed for 28 days, Late Registration 49 days, Cruel Summer 89 days, The College Dropout 193 days, Watch the Throne 209 days, Bully 286 days, Graduation 345 days, Donda 401 days, and The Life of Pablo 531 days. A lot of the time Kanye is going back and making changes and perfecting every album, but I'm convinced a lot of the time Kanye is delaying the album to build more hype for the album, which is pretty genius. But thank you guys for watching. I'm sure I missed a couple albums that were delayed for a long time, and let me know which ones I missed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.